All right. Good afternoon. This is Penelope Flynn, one of your Blerdsassins Next Door. I'm here with the rest of our crew, Sonia, James, Otto, and Nikki. And we are here on this lovely February 1st, 2026 iteration of our show. And I know we're getting straight to the weather. Today we'll be talking first about um, Black History Month, starting today, February 1st, and Black Inventors. But before we do that, we are going to talk about the weather. And Sonia, you're the furthest north, so what's going on up there?
It's currently 16 degrees, which is twice as warm as it was yesterday.
Yowza.
We should hit the balmy 20s tomorrow.
Ooh, you get swimming?
Yeah, double checking. Yeah, the 20 Tuesday it should be hit 29, although they're expecting rain and snow.
All
So
right. Yeah. Oh,
so
Well,
yeah,
you seem
we're
happy
gonna.
about it.
I don't have to go out in it. I work from home.
all right. There we go. Congratulations.
On the other hand, my dear sister has been braving 0 degrees temperature all this past week.
So how was it ice-wise? Did you all not get any precipitation?
They
No
got
ice on the
enough
road?
I they got enough ice that they couldn't keep up on Monday. By Monday afternoon, most of it was gone. The
Wow.
city is that efficient cleaning the streets, which I am forever grateful for, but they still can't take care of the weather. And my car is also down, so my poor sister has been doing the best she can in 0 degree temperature.
So
So
what do you mean?
I'm saluting her.
Is she going with somebody
She's
else,
been getting
carpooling?
she's been getting ride with some friends.
Okay, do ride shares.
Um,
Okay, that's cool.
yeah, yeah. So she's been okay, but the fact that she had to wait for them in 0 degree temperature because
Ouch.
we're at the end of a very long driveway that nobody ever sees when they first pull up.
Ooh,
So she usually walks down that nice long driveway to meet them. And it
wow.
last time she came home, the snow was at her knees because the snow plows moved everything about, and we didn't plow the front porch. So
Wow. Okay, so she's having too much fun.
she's having loads of fun. She always wanted to live in a place with snow. Now she regrets her.
So,
She got.
well,
She said the genie gave her exactly what she wanted, not exactly what she said, not what she wanted.
okay. And so then she can say when it's time to get back to warmer climes, and people ask her, "Oh, don't you miss the snow?" She said,
No,
"Been there, done that. Sorry,
she
I'm
misses
finished."
watching it come down and watching it
Yeah.
that nice, actually working and walking and all of that through it. Nope.
Wow. Yeah, but I mean, I love it too when you're inside and you see it coming down, and especially the big fluffy flakes. But oh, when once it hits and it's cold and it sticks, oh, not so good.
Yeah, you can't even see our front porch anymore. It's
Wow, wow.
because we all go through the garage, so we never thought about the front porch
Mhm.
until something happened and she had to come into the house through the front porch.
All right. So, James, how about you? You don't have to worry about the front porch issue, right?
No, actually, I have to worry about walkway issues. Um,
Yeah.
no, what it is I live on the 22nd floor,
Hmm.
and right outside my window is the walkway, which you can look out and see the East River. So somebody had to come and sweep off all the walkways in the building, and that's like, again, I'm on the 22nd floor, and the building is 24 stories. But
Oh my goodness.
no, but listen, here in New York City right now it's about 80 degrees, and really ain't no thing but a chicken wing. You get some people would crying about it, and I'm like, listen, what are y'all upset about? You know that after Christmas we're gonna get some snow, so stop. So in the meantime, the city did a good job in clearing the snow off the streets, but they piled all the snow on the curbs. You know,
Yeah. In
but
fact,
then
yeah, my son who lives on the East Coast, Well, they were experiencing some stuff like that. Great, you cut the snowplow, but now how are we going to get around?
Yeah, but now the city has this new weapon where they have these trucks that go around the city and they dump all the snow into the back of the truck, and it's basically like a hot tub or something like that, a sauna, which
Wow.
yeah, it melts the snow and they just pump it into the drainage because see, back in the day they used to just take the snow to either the Hudson or East River and dump it in there, but people were complaining that it's stuff in the snow and it'll pollute the river. So now they have these trucks going around the city, basically boiling the snow. Or
Wow.
he said
Yeah.
something steam, and they just pump it down into the drainage system.
Yeah, I was watching this. There's a Scandinavian country that pioneered that, and then so that they're like, "Yep, all snow's gone already," and it was all off of their streets. And they're like, "Well, where'd you pile it?" And they're like, "We didn't pile it." And they show it's like the water treatment facility, like James said, the drainage that they just push it all through, and so it gets recycled back into the
Yeah,
system.
yeah. The only problem with that is I think at the most they probably have maybe only two trucks and whatnot, and that's not. Well, I'm kidding, but they got to get if this is the way they're gonna go, they have to get some more trucks because this
Mhm.
is a large city. You can't have some little tissue paper Kleenex truck. You got to get more trucks.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yep. Yep. I mean, the New York City, so catch it up eventually.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've had about maybe close at last count, about 10 people have passed away because of the weather.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, what about it? Is it the cold, or is it going
it's
outside and slipping, or is it being exposure? What
it,
is it?
it's 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 hypothermia. It's exposure. One lady in Brooklyn, she was 90 years old with Alzheimer's. She got confused and walked outside.
Mm,
Some people were just found on, like, I guess, benches. Thursday again, I can rough it, but Thursday I left out the house to go to work and I forgot one glove.
mm-hmm.
And when I got outside, it was like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh, ow, So yeah, it's gotten pretty bad. Um, Not related to it, but near where I work at, um, some young lady that used to be on the TV show All That.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she, I think a couple of weeks ago, she was homeless
Oh my goodness.
and she got run over not once but twice by a car.
Mhm.
Yeah, she used to be on the show. Um, but now people are hollering, well, what happened to the cast members? Did they know where she was at and what she was going through?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, this happened on Pickin and Thomas Boylan, right around the corner from where I work at.
How horrible. Mhm.
Yeah,
How
it's
horrible.
crazy because she got run over once, and then somebody came behind the first driver and ran her over and dragged her,
Oh no.
and they kept going.
Oh my goodness.
I've been down one time,
Okay,
and
smartass.
I've been down two times.
Right.
Now,
Too soon. Too soon. Okay. All right. But so what are your outlook for the temperature coming up this week?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's gonna be more cold. We actually dodged the bullet because we were supposed to get some type of cyclone bomb something storm that's hitting the south, but by the time it reaches us tonight, it's gonna move out to the Atlantic. So
Oh, fantastic.
yeah, no snow for the time being.
All right. Glad you're gonna dodge that bullet. All right. So, Otto, how's your weather?
My weather's just fine. I'm happy about it. By the way, I solved the snow problem in New York City when I was 9 years old. I wrote a,
Good boy.
okay, so I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter to the mayor. I told him, what you do is you put gasoline on all this snow and you
Oh
light it
Lord.
on fire,
Oh
and it
goodness.
takes everything else takes care of itself. But
Yeah.
apparently the mayor and Bellevue didn't like my ideas. So
So what was it, Mayor Beam that you sent
oh,
that?
I had Beam, I had Coke, or otherwise known as Koch.
Mm-hmm.
I had a number of mayors that I wrote to, and
They
uh,
did what I would have done, ignored your ass.
well, Bellevue Hospital is very well known to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
There you go.
But
that's probably why Beam didn't run for re-election.
Yeah.
well, yeah, because you didn't take my idea up.
No, he took your idea to the city council, and
They said, uh-huh.
yeah, and back then they put it
Well.
on one of those things where you can show enlarge it and show it on the screen on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically told him to get the fuck out of here.
Well,
Hmm.
it's better
And I would have
than
stood there and agreed with him too. I'm like, yeah.
it's better than driving around with a pot of boiling water. Okay, so anyway, so I would say that our weather is really good, and I'm waiting
Uh,
for our friend Nikki in South Florida to give her account because I know
mm.
our weather is way better than what she got. But I'm so happy with our weather because it's going to get up to like 60 degrees for the rest of the week. So
Well,
I'm
Yay!
really happy
what
about
I
it.
gotta say
All you
about
other,
this,
hold on, all you other people in cold weather, suck it. I'm good.
Ah, okay.
I gotta say one
Lovely.
thing.
Hmm.
Every time we start this show, we don't always have to talk about the weather. We can just
Yeah.
get to the main thing,
Nah,
okay?
no, 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 no. We
Right?
always had to talk about the weather.
I don't
So,
think
say with
so.
that being said, Nikki, how's the weather?
How are your iguanas?
Oh, I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm gonna be fair about this. This morning it started out at 33 degrees.
How much?
Yeah.
Did you say 33? Did you say 33? I know she can hear me. Nikki, did you say 33 degrees?
I can answer for her, Penelope.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Yes, she said
Yes.
33 degrees.
All right. That
It's
sounds
cold. It's
terrible.
cold as the richest teat, as they say.
Yowza. That is kind of crazy, crazy. I think it's ugly as. Oh, it's just. I don't know.
You know what? Only a
That's
witch would know that. So I'm just.
okay. All right. Let's go there. Well, how interesting. We just popped on and Cranston, who I've been saying, what the heck happened to Cranston? And here he is.
What the
Hey,
heck happened to
man.
Cranston?
Hello,
How's
Welcome
it
how are
back to the
you?
going?
show.
It's going.
How's your weather?
To this morning it was 23.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh! So nobody came to work, and everybody is at home, and they're burning down the buildings for warmth, right?
And actually they're adjusting pretty well. Everybody's bundling up and complaining, so they're doing pretty well. It's supposed to get up to 43, and then it's supposed to be 2 more days of inclement weather, and then it's supposed to start warming up for the few days. So
Well, great. So you get a warming trend. I'm so
y-
happy for you.
yeah.
You and Nikki can sit down there together, in your Arctic blast. I mean, it only comes what once every few years, right?
Well, it comes whenever they say, guess what? When
Yeah,
we said about the weather yesterday, forget that. This is what's happening today. So,
yeah, yeah. Okay,
A
so
friend sent me a meme that said Greenland sending their weather as a first
they're
rung
opening
of.
they're opening salvo. There we
Well,
go.
yeah, was not on my bingo card for this year.
No, I would think not. I would not. I mean, 23. That is insane. That is insane. So now we've gone past this issue of our weather. Nikki popped off, but I guess she'll pop back on eventually. And the issue, of course, today is Black History Month begins, and we discussed this and decided that this all month we will be discussing Black history, and because as we all well know, every Black History Month we talk about the same individuals, safe individuals that people want, or talk about the same individuals in a safe way. But we want to start talking about more individuals, in our history here in the United States, and maybe beyond, to discuss the contributions that have been made by, you know, Black people, and particularly from the United States.
Uh, c- can I show something to everybody real quick?
You can do that. Do you want to share screen or something, or what do you want to do?
No, you see this here?
Yeah, I
This,
do.
yeah, this is a book that came out in 1990 called Black Inventors of America.
Yeah.
Okay, it was written by, well, compiled by McKinley Burt Jr. Okay, so you might want to look that up. I don't know if it's still in print. Maybe you can get a copy,
Hmm.
a copy on Amazon or something like
No, we'll
that.
find somebody, maybe Barnes and Noble or something.
Yeah, yeah, anybody,
We're
but
trying to avoid the yeah.
yeah, yeah, my bad, cause actually I got caught out there. I ordered some books not knowing the fuckery that Amazon did last week. But anyway, it's published by the National Book Company.
What was
Yeah.
it
Um,
again?
uh, Black Inventors of America by McKinley Burt Jr. Okay,
I
was
looked and I found somebody what they have it on. What do you call it in Google Books?
Well,
yeah,
Google Books.
what you can also do is consult your local library and see if they can get it for you through an interlibrary loan. You have to give it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't cost you anything.
All
yeah,
right. We love
yeah.
the
You
not cost us anything, but we also like supporting our writers, compilers, editors by purchasing as well.
Right.
yeah. Again, it was published by the National Book Company of Portland,
Hmm.
Oregon. So if you go to Barnes and Nobles, in fact, I suggest on principle, Abe books.
Hmm.
Yeah, avoid Abe because Abe is just a subsidiary of Amazon now.
Ah, okay.
And maybe you can find it on thrift books too.
It's on Thrift Books. That's where I'm
Okay.
looking right now.
Hmm.
All right, cool beans. All
And,
right,
and
so
also eBay.
yeah, that's another place to
Yeah.
look for things. I think we got our Nikki back.
Or you can find a black bookstore and see if they can order it for you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You could probably here in New York. You have Sisters Uptown Bookstore.
Sisters Uptown Bookstore.
Yeah, that's where I had my book signing at Sisters Uptown Bookstore.
Now, what if the black bookstore orders your book through Amazon? What do you do then?
Why do you
They,
always have to make life so
I think they
hard?
usually order it through the distributor
Yeah.
and not, what I mean, because you could get it from Amazon. It's like if they can get it from the same place Amazon would get it from the distributor. So somebody's like doing stapling something.
I'm
You hear it?
playing the bongos.
Oh, that must be it. You and Randy Jackson.
It could be Nikki stapling the bongos because it's so damn cold in South Florida. I'm just
And you
saying.
know what? I was trying to say something, Otto. It was 30, 32 or 33 degrees here. I didn't even know it. We had the heat on so high that I had to turn the fan on.
That don't even make no sense.
It was too hot in the house. The heat was on. It was too hot. So instead, I just turned my fan on. You know, you got that nice balance of air and heat together.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Move right along. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So that means you won the lottery when your electric bill comes.
Yeah, you better hope, man. All right. So, yes, we talk about our black inventors and, people who I guess um either created or innovated items that we use every day or in industry or, you know, there's so many things that are out there that have been, I guess, the cornerstone of progress in the United States that no one ever talks about. And we wanted to talk about some of those individuals. So, because you pulled out your source book, James, why don't you get us started?
Um. Let me see where did I put this at. Oh, you have a gentleman by the name of Frederick McKinley Jones,
Hmm.
and every time you go to you go to the supermarket and you go to the meat section, you have steak,
Hmm.
chicken, pork, whatever, frozen food section. He perfected a way for trucks to carry perishable items, perishable foods without spoiling. Okay, because what it was he was an inventor as it was, but one day he overheard a gentleman that owned a movie theater,
Hmm.
and this gentleman was talking with a truck driver, and they was talking about how it is that the air conditioning in movie theaters was not good, and it needed to be a better you know a better way of doing it. And the truck driver was totally pissed because he said he would lose money and contracts because hauling poultry, he said by the time he would get to the stores, the chicken would be spoiled.
Mm.
So what Jones did was he perfected a better way of air conditioning for trucks and movie theaters.
Fantastic. So
Hey, Penelope,
innovation. Yes.
can we have like inventors who did important stuff instead of air conditioning chickens? I'm just saying. That's all.
Okay, so Mr. Man, because obviously you're in Mr. Man mode today. So you're telling me that uh, making food last and not spoil is not important?
I don't think it. Well, you know what? Like
Well,
the guy.
you know what you should do is get your musket, go out on the Texas Panhandle, shoot a couple of prairie chickens, bring them home and dress them and cook them right then and there.
Yeah, but air conditioning chickens is not the same as the guy who invented the stop signal and the gas mask. That's a little more. This is more
Yeah,
cutting
but
edge.
I would debate that because this is a way to extend the life of food.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also we talk about these things that these individuals have to think of what they were doing in the context of the time that it was being done. And also, I mean, we concern ourselves with earlier, I guess, inventors who, by the way, many of them were not allowed even to patent their works because they were ex-slaves.
Yeah, and
And
I
they said, well, because these people were property, they could not own property.
yeah,
What kind of nonsense is that?
and I guarantee you that Charles Birdseye is the one that gets all the credit for frozen foods.
Hmm.
You know, this man Jones totally. You had to look him up, like I did just now, to find
Hmm.
out what he contributed. Now, granted, there are some patents in this book that are obsolete. Okay,
Of
like
course.
the shoelacing machine and stuff like that. But I would say that keeping
In
the
context, they have to be considered in context,
yeah, you know.
right?
And I mean, even with the shoe lacing machine or whatever that was, in the context of the times, everybody wore, leather shoes.
Yeah. So wonderful. And because you have something to say about it, Otto, what do you have, for a little known, I guess would say, inventor or someone that people would not know about, who in context of their time, did something that was innovative?
Well, I have the guy. I don't know his name.
Garrett Morgan?
Oh yeah, yeah, that.
Yeah. Okay, good. Continue.
Well, every time you drive down the street with your frozen chicken or frozen food, TV dinner, you stop and go, and traffic is regulated by the basis of the lights in the street.
Hmm.
And so, Garrett Morgan is the inventor of that, and no one actually gives him credit for it. And so there was always previous to Morgan, there was various kinds of street regulation lights, but Morgan's invention really uh, put use into the different red and green lights and regulating traffic on a consistent basis. And it also, Penelope, correct me if I'm wrong, did he also invent the I guess commonly used um, and typically I guess it was updated gas mask?
Hmm. Yes. He created,
and
yeah.
and the story behind that, but I won't go into detail.
No, you should.
Off
It's a
the
good
top of my
story.
head, I don't really know all the details, but the way that it was used, or the story behind its first use, is very comical and also racist to its core. The way it was implemented, is similar to how almost the story behind, another so-called inventor, Dr. Drew. But I don't know the full story. I can't recall it off the top of my head to specificity.
But I think the story that I recall was that there had been some sort of a cave in at a mine, and this one man wanted to go in and save his brother, but they didn't have any method because, of course, the gas and stuff that was in there, no one could go in. Garrett Morgan, basically hauled himself up there to this mine where this cave-in had occurred, where they couldn't get anyone out, and he brought his invention. And basically, because he was a black man bringing an invention, they said no. But the guy who wanted to get his brother out said, "Give me that doggone thing," and put it on and went in to find his brother. He did find his brother, but unfortunately, it was too late. The miners, after the cave-in, had all basically I think, suffocated. And but they showed this man. He was, lauded as a hero. But at the time, no one ever mentioned the fact that it was this black man's invention that allowed him to get in there and become, the hero of the day in attempting to save these men. So, again, situation where I would rather die than have you, put your, use your invention to help me live, right? Right?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much how America is. When it comes to things, you know, dealing with race, America has also had this, chop their nose off to
Mm-hmm. Despite your
spite this,
face.
spite your face. You um, yeah, it's. I mean, look at the situation with Edison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of stuff attributed to him, he didn't exactly invent, or it was improved upon.
Yeah.
For
But
example, Lewis
Yeah.
Latimer, who did filament, because before light bulbs would only last a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
to
yeah,
And
Lewis Latimer, now they last years.
Yeah, and also to say that we have somebody in the comments, Blurred Girl Romance, stating that we have I don't know which one to start with. First is Shirley Jackson, Black woman helped pioneer new developments in particle physics.
Mhm.
So, um, did you want to go on? We certainly don't mind you jumping in and giving us a link or pulling you into the back if you wanted to make comment about it. But yeah, that we have a lot of people who have made contributions in areas of science that definitely were not acknowledged. I got to tell you, I mean, I was an adult with adult children when I first heard of Katherine Johnson. I mean, those of us who are from Florida, who are connected somehow to Florida, which I believe only one of us is not, right? Only you, James, don't have a connection to Florida. And growing up, that was such a big deal, the space program. But having, basically seen they only, white males with short sleeve shirts, when they were doing these launches, you kind of presumed that this was, an area that only focused on those individuals. To come to find out, all these decades later, that the support for a lot of these space program launches was from women, black and Anglo women. So, but they were, largely invisible. And if I had known that there was a person such as Katherine Johnson, I loved science, loved, you know, the concept of, going into space, but I had really bad vision, and also I was not. I mean, I look back now, I say when I was bad at math, but the thing is, I look back and say, no, I wasn't that bad at math. It's just like I just perceived I was not like an A student. I was like a B plus
Okay,
student in math.
can you still hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, Cranston. Can you hear me? Can anyone else hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can hear
yeah, we hear
you.
you.
All right, but it's Cranston.
Okay, we
I can
hear
hear
the
you.
soft drumming in the background. So
Yes, it's like it sounds like a stapler, like somebody stapling something. Yeah, can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not me.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah, we
stapler.
hear it.
it's
I hear
not
it.
me either. I keep getting kicked off.
No, it's not me.
I hear it now. Still.
While we're
Okay, I don't hear it
talking,
now. It's gone. It's gone
can I
now.
do my two inventions, please?
Please give us an
okay, sure.
invention.
Okay, my first one is Osborne Dorsey. In 1878, he invented the doorknob.
Very
Okay,
cool.
And Alexander Miles, he invented the elevator door. Those are my
Very,
two.
very cool.
Those are my
How
two.
do you invent the doorknob though? How did that
okay,
happen?
those are both good. And
Because before there was a doorknob, instead of the doors being what you call, they were like belts that you had to lock. I mean, like how you use a belt. They belted the doors closed, and they found that very inconvenient. So he invented a doorknob.
Oh, very cool.
okay,
I can't
That's it.
even I can't even conceive of how that would work.
Yeah, they had these big belts. I mean, one side, and just pulled them together and tightened it, and like a belt. That's how you
Wow.
closed your doors.
Well, there
so
you
that
go.
was secure.
Yes.
Yes, there we go. And
But those,
before we move on to your second one, I guess that's all right. That was your second one, right?
Oh, that elevated door was
Or
the
uh,
second.
yes, yeah, that was your second one. Okay, now
Alexander Miles invented the elevator door.
Well, tell us the history behind that, because that's interesting too.
Well, not. I mean, what he did really was he helped the elevator doors open and close instead of doing it the old-fashioned way. He made it where it opens and closes the way it does now.
so previous to that, how did it open? Just the
That's
ones
it.
where they have that you lift up and down instead of
Yeah,
side to
well, that's
side.
good, and it's also good to have things that the people are still using.
He auto.
Exactly.
Okay, he what he did was he patented the first automatic elevator door, elevator door system in 1887.
Oh wow. Okay, well, that's news. I did not know that, and now I do. I just posted also a Blurred Girl Romance. Uh,
Okay.
Noted that Claudia Alexander was a black astrophysicist whose contributions to cosmology inspired her to get into astronomy as a teenager, and that she was responsible for managing the Galileo mission. That is good news,
Mm,
because you have other,
yes.
young women out there, like I just said, we think these
Are there
are,
others back yet?
everybody's here. You can't hear anybody? Cranston, can you hear me?
I'm not sure
Cranston.
if I can hear anybody.
Okay, I'm still here.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you, but I think you can't hear the rest of us.
So should we log out and try to log back in, or?
You might want to try doing that, Cranston, because we can all hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me saying yes? Uh,
Send them a text message or something.
yeah, and private chat. It said, yeah. So there we go.
Okay, it said we can see and hear us, but we can't see or hear any of you.
Yeah. So we can all see and hear you.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we. I can hear everybody, even
Yeah.
unfortunately Otto.
Ah,
I can hear him too.
Well, you know what? I got some more for you to hear, man, later on.
okay. All right. Ooh.
Okay.
All right. As I stated earlier, that there were other inventors, for instance, Benjamin Montgomery, who was, born in 1819, and because when he was born into the peculiar institution of United States slavery, that he was not able to get a patent when he applied for a patent, and it was so odious, the system, that even his quote unquote owner person, slave owner, could not get the patent for him because his name would have to be on it. So this is, an amazing thing where they were so intent on individuals who were restrained that they would not even allow the individual who claimed, okay, yeah, this person works here and therefore I will get the patent for them. No, because you'd have to have the fact that they actually invented it on the patent. So that
Well,
is an amazing
I have a
thing.
question though.
Uh huh.
I have a question, Penelope. So we're starting off your show, and for the next three shows during the month of February, it's going to be about Black history that hasn't been, I guess, people don't know much about it, or people have never heard about it, including
Hmm.
people on this panel. Why do you think it's so important for people to know? Number one. Number two, why do you think that for a lot of us, including me, I know,
You're going in and out.
science and people of science and inventors,
Yes.
why
I mean,
they
I think why are they excluded in this way?
why are we learning about them for the first time? And why is
Well,
it important that we know who they are?
everybody can kind of jump in on this.
No,
It's like we
I
all
don't
have
know.
our own concepts of why we believe it's important.
No, I
So,
don't. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Learning for the first time. Shameless plug. If you go to my WordPress blog that I put on
the link.
recently,
You should give me the link so I can post it.
um,
Private chat.
yeah, WordPress is who gives you the right.
Hmm.
Okay, and I mentioned how back in 1968, it my family was home and it was a knock on the door, and it was a young gentleman selling encyclopedias. Okay, but these encyclopedias were about Black history and Black inventors. Okay, and the thing I remember most about it is the fact that when he told us, my parents, the price, they were like, well, we really couldn't afford it. Can we get on a payment plan, installment plan? And he said no. He said, I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave the encyclopedia with with y'all. Then I'll come back, say next month, and you can pay me then. He never came back. But the thing about it is that as a child, I just totally got immersed in these books, because they had Black inventors, had a book on Black historical figures, they had a book on Blacks in music and theater and whatnot, a special book on the Civil War. And that's how I started to get into Black history and Black inventors, etc., etc. So this has been a lifelong passion with me.
Well, I know for me, I think, the Black the, drive
Okay, you're
that.
breaking up.
Okay, I'll come back in.
Okay, I can't hear anybody.
I said, I'm trying to find one. I have one written
You
down
know, I
that
just
got,
realized just now I was talking. I said, "Oh my gosh, why am I muted?" I just looked down at my mic. I'm going blah 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 blah.
yeah,
Muted, and I'm
it's
not.
been muting on and off.
Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, just now. Um, I hope did you all hear me when I was saying about the when I posted Black Bird Girl Romance's comment? If you didn't, I say it because some people will hear this on the podcast when it goes to Spotify and they will not see the page that we're talking about. But what she says is that so much of Western history focuses on great man theory, especially one great white man. It helps to cement the principles of white supremacy by pretending no one else had contributions. And that whole concept of the mythology created here, in the United States over time, especially like I said, post Civil War, of this, this society created only by those, who are a lighter shade of pale. So I think, we have to be constantly vigilant about that. And I'd say it's wonderful. And I know we had those ebony encyclopedias. My parents bought them too, and I thought if yours were the ebony ones, we had the ebony ones. That it's great that we know these things, but it's equally important that those who are not us know these things because again, it gives them this false sense of superiority that they somehow have, built all this on their own, or they know they haven't built it all on their own and want to suppress the fact that this country belongs to everyone that came here and made contributions, and many people like us made great contributions.
Right, Penelope. I'm going to say it real quick because
Hmm.
I don't know how long this connection is going to last or
Yes, go
whatever.
on.
So the thing is that what I was saying is that a lot of people know some of the historical stuff, and the stuff that James said this morning, and Nikki and others. You, I never heard any of that stuff before, and that's a problem. And you're getting a lot of the stuff that you do hear and you got it not in school, but outside of the confines of the public school or the school system.
Mhm.
And then if you're talking about the space and going to the moon and all that, that was in real time. I mean, they it wasn't history; it was history making. But we never saw any of those people, never saw any of those black women
Right,
being featured at all. And so that's another problem that we have. And so, it's historically, and also we're living in history. We lived in history and still didn't know who exactly was behind it. And I think, what you said about being inspired, or the ability to have been inspired if you had known that there
right.
were black women behind the scene.
Yeah. And again, we have a Blurred Girl Romance made another comment and responded to Cranston saying, I didn't learn about the sheer amount of black soldiers who fought for the Union Army until I was an adult. And in fact, that's like a big deal for many of us that,
Mhm.
like for us, we discovered this past year, I guess it was, that our relatives who are from Florida, I guess lower part of Georgia, they have the boundary lines between the two, were not all the time stable, but one of our ancestors fought in the Civil War, so what a wonderful thing to have that in our background, but also every year in North Florida. Outside of Tallahassee, correct, and Cranston, and Sonia also, the Battle of Natural Bridge.
Approach.
That is the reenactment of that battle, which, for its positive and negatives, of course, that for the Confederates to say that it was the one capital that the Union Army did not take when they came down into the South, but also that the regiment that was fighting in the Battle of Natural Bridge was black, and they don't tell you that either. And how, unfortunately, circumstances occurred such that they didn't get their backup didn't arrive timely, and also where they've again people with their mythology created this mythology that these farmers and individuals in the seminary there came, fought it out and, repelled this advancement by the Union Army, when the reality was that they had taken individuals who were in other locations and sent them into North Florida, Tallahassee area in order to repel that invasion, I guess you want to say, by the North. So it wasn't this David and Goliath story that they want to put out there. It actually was very, very different. And so
Okay, what year was
I,
was that battle?
I'm sorry, James. I don't know. Is somebody else hearing that sound
Yeah.
again?
Yeah,
Hold on,
I
let
would
me
say
see.
put
Because
Hmm.
if some people can mute themselves if you're not speaking. I mute
That would
myself.
maybe help.
So
You're right. All right. Um,
Yeah,
I'm looking
because
it up. Right,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking it up right quick to deal with the date. Uh, Wikipedia, March 6th, 1865 is the Battle of Natural Bridge.
Okay, that whole thing, that whole narrative that they were saying is totally a falsehood, because by 1865, the Confederate Army barely had enough troops to sustain what they were doing. They had to go to drafting people.
Hmm.
In fact, at the by that time, 1865, they had even went to slaves and said, "We'll give you immediate emancipation if you would take up arms and fight for the Confederacy." And
Uh,
I think they got a grand total of maybe between 50 or 60 slaves that actually did. Okay, and about half of them, once they got in the battle, they ran away
yeah,
as
say, I just
escaped
well,
slaves.
yeah, just give me a gun right quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
hand me.
that's a total falsehood. But see, this is what I was telling you guys a long time ago, that by the turn of the century, the 20th century, thanks to people like Southall Freeman or whatever his name was, and the Daughters of the Confederacy.
Yeah.
That's when they started changing the narrative to this false narrative that's finally has died.
Hmm.
But yeah, getting back to black inventors, um, it's a lot of black inventors that not only did they invent certain things, they also improved upon them.
Yeah, a little
You know,
innovation, not
yeah,
invention, but innovations.
yeah. And another thing we have to remember with NASA and the whole space program and all that there were a couple of black astronauts that were
Yeah, but I
coming,
don't want to. I don't want to get off into that because
right?
we have a whole another show of that.
Yeah. No, but I'm just letting people know,
Mhm.
that that's another story that was swept
Exactly.
under the rug.
Exactly.
But getting back to inventors, here in New York City, every time you get on the subway, it was a black man that invented the third rail.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
I did not know that.
Me either.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name was Carter Woods. What was
It's not.
his name?
It's not Carter
Carter
G. Woodson, is it?
Woodson.
No, Granville T. Woods.
Granville T.
Okay.
Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, Woodson
And
is a historian.
Yes.
right,
That's what I was
Granville
told.
T. Woods. He basically invented the third rail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which as people know, that's where you get the electricity to move the trains along.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And these things, a lot of them, are things we just take for granted now. It's just part of, the entire
But
uh, environment that we live in, right?
but
Yeah.
though, Penelope, I think a lot of people will say to you that these inventions, we don't need to know who made them.
Yeah.
You know, I
Right.
mean, it's almost like the Malcolm X, the line from Malcolm X when Malcolm X questions the portrait of Jesus being white, and they say, well, it doesn't matter what color God is. It's just
Mm-hmm.
then why do you have a picture of him being white then if it doesn't
Doesn't
matter?
make him black then if it doesn't matter,
Exactly.
right? It
no,
didn't matter. It doesn't make him
well,
black.
I personally think that people need to know. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
I give you a quick shit thing that happened on my job. This Latino brother came in and he had a couple of drinks, and he said to me, well, women have created nothing for mankind. I said,
Hmm.
what? He said, women have created nothing for mankind. So I kindly pointed up to the closed circuit TV,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, you see that camera up there,
Mm-hmm.
the CCTV? He said, yeah. I said, a woman invented that.
Mm-hmm.
A woman created that. Yeah, but I said, no. What
No,
are you
yeah, but
saying?
no, yeah, but yeah, it is what it is.
A black
Yeah,
woman.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But
The
this is what I'm saying. That's why even mundane things people
But they
need to be
matter.
reminded, but they
Absolutely.
matter. Okay,
uh, uh,
that fire extinguisher that's sitting in whatever office or public space, that was a black man that came up with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
okay, here's even the more mundane. It got me kicked off of a group that was talking about historical foods. They did a video about the invention of potato chips. And they had a white man in the picture at the constant
Mm-mm.
time. I was like, and I wrote back, George Crumb was not
Yeah.
white. He was
He
black.
sure
And I
was
gave the whole
not.
thing. They kicked me out of the chat and deleted my comment
Wow.
Wow. For what reason?
because
She
I
told the
pointed that.
truth.
I mean, but the thing is, how is that hurting their feelings to give attribution to the person who actually did it? How are their feelings hurt by that?
As something as, quote, mundane as a potato chip.
Absolutely. Wow. You can't have anything around here,
I,
huh?
I can't imagine being affiliated with the group that would find that offensive.
Absolutely.
I didn't know they were that type of group until that happened. So it's one of
I,
those I wouldn't want to be a
well,
member of a group. Yeah.
but think about it. How so many of us were stunned, back during the earlier eras of cosplay when black people would show up cosplaying certain characters they like from anime, and these so-called nerds who did all this stuff that you thought were at least at one point forward thinking, they lost their minds. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
They lost their ever loving minds telling black people they should not be
We shouldn't be
dressing like
doing
this,
that.
that, and the other, person. They're not black and blah blah blah. But the things that amazes me is that they dress as these anime characters. You have to tell them, but they're not Anglo either. They're Asian. So why do you think somehow you can basically incorporate these individuals, but others cannot?
Well, Penelope, I will tell a quick story about
Hmm.
AI,
Hmm.
and I was running through AI on YouTube, and there was a 2 hour, I guess, clip about a black girl who allegedly just she was like Goodwill Hunting for at MIT, and she was like 8, 9 years old, and it story about her. And I think the dangers of AI and the racism and everything else involved in AI, I don't know whether the story is true or not. And I don't know whether we're being made fun of or not. But, is that where's the source that we can get the truth of what exactly, black inventors and who they are and that I know we have James has the encyclopedias. Is there anything that we can go to other than that, or anything that we can count on online
Well, we
that
have
has not been?
yeah, we have so many sources now. I mean, you just do a search. You go to somewhere like even Wikipedia, and do a search regarding black inventors, and they'll
Yeah,
give you listings. I
yeah,
mean, they
I
may not
would.
go totally into depth, but they can get you started.
Yeah,
Well, also the problem is that you have to fact check everything nowadays because you
Which
never know when something is going to be a, deep fake or a change or something like that. So yeah.
absolutely. I know. I
y-
looked at this, like Otto was saying, that we watched this video about this young girl, and then of course we go into fact checking, and could not find anything to substantiate it. At least I didn't, and I
yeah.
did a
Well,
lot of fact.
you have to these days. You have to do your due diligence. Okay. I hate. Wow.
What is
Whoa.
that sound? It's like something like running around, and somebody have two microphones going,
Yeah.
or phone or something that's
I
going.
muted myself, and if you're not speaking, I would suggest you do the same.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, you have to do your due
It's
diligence
just
these days.
it's the Boston Dynamics robots coming for us.
The what?
I think he's talking to someone else.
Yeah. All right. No, you have to do your due diligence these
No, that
days.
was to the group.
You have to do your due diligence these days when it comes to stuff like this, because even I found out a long time ago that while I would say 95% of stuff on Wikipedia is is factual, there's the 5% that you have to watch, because see, with Wikipedia there's actually a way where you can edit something that was posted on there by somebody else. Okay, and how I found this out was that the fact that when I looked up um, Bronx River houses, it was some totally crazy stuff on there, and come to find out, at one point during the Giuliani administration, he actually had police officers going through Wikipedia posting pro Giuliani stuff. So yeah, you have to be careful with that. AI is a problem because on I recently saw on YouTube, it's a lot of stuff about the gangster Bumpy Johnson, and I'm looking at it and haven't read, his biography. I'm like, wait a minute, he's doing too much. You know what I'm saying? He's doing too much in these videos. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
and some
to,
of them people are extrapolating from the shows that they're seeing on television, which
right.
are not exactly historical. They are, taking great liberties sometimes.
Right, but right, like the young black woman, young black girl, I guess you can say. And, they made up this. It seems made up to me because we couldn't find anything about it, but it's a fascinating story, and I think a lot of it is maybe done because racism is so insidious. It could be done to undermine our stories that we express about real black inventors and real black innovators.
Right.
It could undermine them, and I think we have to be cautious of that.
And
Extremely.
and coming from the other direction, it could also have been done by somebody that was had good intentions, right? That had good intentions, but that's just not the way to
Yeah.
go
Right,
ab-
right.
about it.
Yeah, call it a fiction, call it a fantasy, but don't put it out there as truth that can't be substantiated. Is also, you don't want somebody to go out there in the world and say, "Well, this thing happened," blah blah blah. Then, when other people try to find the source material, it doesn't exist, and it makes you appear to be um, not very careful with your research.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I would like to know. I would like to know quickly from James, since he has a book on black inventors. I presume it has a table of contents. How many inventors are listed in the book?
Uh, it has like oh, it's hard to say because they put it into sections: the romance of the rails, creators of industry and jobs, black capitalism. But put it this way: what I'm gonna just try and go through real quick is on the cover.
mhm,
Okay, it says Black Inventors of America, and then they have a list, and they say semaphore, the third rail, refrigerator car, automatic coupler, automatic air brake, automatic shoemaker, automatic lube wave, sugar refiner, turn signal, automatic transition, automatic car wash, traffic signal, biscuit cutter, refining coconut oil, rotary engine, corn planter, cotton planter, ironing board, bridle bit,
mm,
horseshoe, lawnmower, railway switching device, train alarm, trestle, elevator, planola. I don't know what that is. Electric railway switch, guitar, cell control, golf tee, detachable car fender, bicycle frame, Velcro peed, air conditioner, two cycle gas engine, electric lamp, printing press, fire extinguisher, shoelacing machine, portable fire escape, steam gauge, fountain pen, lawn sprinkler, potato digger, portable infantry shield, multiple barrel machine gun, toggle harpoon, propeller, railway telegraph, telephone transmitter, electromechanical brake, galvanic battery, auto air brake, and automatic safety cut for electric circuits.
cool beans.
And
And
I
all,
would also
You
add,
forgot
I
And
would
the
add
super
banjo.
soaker.
you forgot the super soaker too.
Soaker.
yeah.
And also I would add banjo because I was watching. Unfortunately, I was watching the Beverly Hillbillies this morning, and
Uh-huh.
I wanted to know who invented the banjo, and so the banjo is from West Africa. But the thing is banjo as it is right now, as it through the years has always been associated with Appalachian whites or Southern whites. And so you rarely ever see a black person playing a banjo, although but it
Well,
came origins is from West Africa.
well, I would look on YouTube for the what's the name of that group? Alabama
I can
shakes.
still hear that sound.
Yeah.
So if you're not talking, get yourself to get rid of that sound.
Yeah, the Alabama shakes and um some other group that came out, I think in 2000s, where they emphasized the blues and banjos.
Oh, you see, but you know, in general culture, you see those people playing, you know, the Beverly Hillbilly stuff. That got that ugly looking kid from Deliverance, and you
Yeah,
know,
you really
Steve Martin,
yes, people like that, of course. The penny banjo.
and so it's been it's an invention that's from West Africa. You can't pin any particular person to it, but it was in minstrel shows, and then it was used as it was weaponized against black people, and then black people want to distance themselves from it, understandably distance themselves from it, along with you know different dance moves, which are also an invention. Penelope, what do you think? Like tap dancing, is that an
Right?
innovation or is that an invention?
I mean, probably a little of both, right? Because a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
a
people who came here had their own dance. Like they were, we talked the
yeah.
other about things like river dance and stuff like that, and they all come here and then they merge and meld into, something that is a little of both or several
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But mhm,
Thank the Lower East Side of Manhattan for tap dancing, because it's a combination, like you said, of river dance with the jig,
mhm,
with with black people basically like freestyling, and it just evolved into, because blacks and Irish used to get into the dives and the
mhm.
really seedy bars, and they get twisted and they do their dance. And yeah, so tap dancing, that came from Lower East Side.
Hmm. Right, we have a political romance that says that so I think this is why it's so important to have maker spaces, 3D printing, wood, metal shop, education available for Black children, because the barriers to entry now are a lot more expensive. And this is also something that happened, of course, well, we know things like sports. There are a lot of sports that Black kids were able to get into because the buy-in was very low. Like, well, baseball, but even baseball, has to have the equipment for gloves and things like that. Football, basketball, low barrier, to entry. Soccer, low. But as you start having to buy very expensive equipment, even things like track, you have the expensive track shoes, to get out and run. And all these things, football, with cleats and uniforms and stuff, the more expensive it gets to be able to play, the more sponsorship you need, and this is why kids, play things like football in school, where they have the uniforms, even things like band, that you go to school and your band class, and they have the instruments there that you can learn on. But when they are cutting back on all these educational programs, not just arts and sciences, but also even sports, because it's very difficult for a lot of people coming from families that are mid-income and lower to be able to even become involved. So I think that's another issue that we deal with. Then
It's
how do you get to
almost
yes.
it's almost like Penelope, if like for track shoes, if black kids decided that you know they couldn't afford track shoes, so they got like bottle caps or something and turned them upside down and put them on the bottom of their shoes, they wouldn't get credit for the invention, and then several years later, they wouldn't be able to afford the shoes.
The same shoes that they invented themselves, that's the way it is, isn't it? And it would be a situation where they said, well, that's just the thing that was being done, in the neighborhood, no specific attribution to any one person, such that that individual could get, a patent for it or anything like that. And in fact, that has been one of the other issues that, Black people had to deal with early on is when you weren't allowed to get a patent, basically all your work becomes what public domain,
Yeah.
and people make this thing they make an innovation, with regard to your invention. They get a patent on that and you get nothing, you know
You get nothing. And I think black people in particular and poor people generally are innovators because you have to be. And I think that a lot of those inventions come from that because you have to get
Necessity,
a little
is
bit for
it?
column A, a little bit for column B, and come up with something that works for you or your family. And someone gets it, you can't get a patent, they have it, and then they go about their way.
Right. That necessity is the mother of invention. I need a thing. It doesn't exist. So I'm going to figure out how to make it, pull it together. And in fact, they used to, and I'm sure they still do behind our backs, used to say things that people started quote unquote, jury rigging things. They used another word for it. But to say
Or the
that,
monkey wrench. On the monkey
yes,
wrench.
yeah, I mean, things like that, because, the guy who invented it was a black guy. So to call it a monkey wrench. And this is my understanding. So we have, individuals who look at a thing, they need it, they have to use it, it's important. You can't deny its utility, but to denigrate the person that created it, you know?
Well, there
So
are
the
also a number of inventions that the stories go back and forth that you don't know if they're which ones are true or not. That allegedly this woman who worked for somebody whose husband worked for, I think, Mattel or whatever company it was making clothes for these dolls for her kids and everything. And so that's where Barbie came from, allegedly. Allegedly, they will watch these black kids throwing around flattened can lids or something like that. So that was a frisbee. So there are a lot of things that were, and of course, there's the um, the controversy about like who invented the potato chip or whatever. So there are a lot of things that we may have invented that we maybe didn't invent, but there's just no real way to prove which ones actually.
right. Or even if we didn't invent it, we may have created innovation that made it something that was that previously would not have been something that we could make on a large scale. But because of the innovation, we created something that would be available on a large scale.
Hmm. And there was one other invention that's still in use that is good that a guy named Alfred Kissel from
Hmm.
Philadelphia in 1897 invented the ice cream scoop.
Huh? Who
And
knew? I didn't.
and he received his patent on February 2nd. So,
Wow. The ice cream scoop. That's
ice,
something that we need, and it's very important to our society,
yeah.
and to me personally. Ice cream
So,
scoop.
yeah, so next time you go to Baskin Robbins or what's the name of that other place, and you see them scooping up whatever and stuff, just remember, hey.
Yeah, yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Mhm.
And again, these things are incorporated into our daily lives so much that we don't even think about the fact that hey, somebody had to create this thing.
Yeah.
One more item that we used to use a lot, I don't think many people do it more, is the ironing board. When I was looking it up, what's her name again? Sarah Boone designed the curved, narrow ironing board, making it easier to iron sleeves and fitted clothing.
Well, very cool. Because I think we have one. I have not used it in ages.
But
It's like,
all the times your mom made you iron, I gotta
oh
iron the
yeah,
clothes, and
growing
you
up,
never realize, wait a minute.
yes, growing up, yeah, we all had to iron clothes, and I mean now with I guess all of the innovations in textiles, things being, ready to wear, no iron clothing, wrinkle free things that we don't quite do it as much as we used to. But oh, I remember having to do my time in front of the ironing board, and that is one thing I do not look forward to ever.
And
Well,
there's one more. I was
Hmm.
gonna
I
say there's
remember
one more
ironing
person.
my clothes. I
Hmm.
remember ironing my clothes, but I would hate if my mother made me iron my siblings' clothes. That's slavery.
It's slavery.
That's chores.
Okay, yeah. Well, what's up?
That was
What we have
chores. There's one other person we need to thank because without him, we wouldn't be able to
actual
talk to each other. James West created the electric
Sure.
microphone, which is the tiny microphones that are in most of our phones, cameras, etc., like this one right here.
Then why does Alexander Bell get all the credit?
Same reason why Edison got credit for the filament that he didn't create. He had the money, he could control the narrative.
So what is it about inventions? Is it a combination of racism and monetary issues and just shameless self promotion? Is that it?
There's also a lot of work for hire. You work for me, so therefore your invention is mine.
Because a phone wouldn't work without a microphone. It just wouldn't.
Correct.
And the same thing with the light bulb.
Correct. But they were able to get away with it because they created it as working for part of my company. Therefore, it's my creation.
Exactly.
Is what Edison and Bell did
Alexander
back
Bell.
then.
But
Yeah.
the thing.
Whatever you
And Alexander
whatever
Bell didn't even create the telephone stuff. It was Marconi over in Italy, but Bell got credit for it here.
whatever you create under my company, I own the rights to. That's in the small print when you sign the contract.
And it seems like someone like Edison is a shameless self promoter.
Yep.
And didn't he have more failures than successes?
Yep.
Doesn't that remind you of a certain tycoon these days?
The certain tycoon you're talking about has more failures than let's put it this way. He had super failures, and then he had normal failures, but mostly it's a bunch of failures. So there's that. But is someone like Madam C.J. Walker, would she be considered an inventor?
Yep. All the modern products that we use now, yes.
Which is what, the curling iron? What exactly?
No, the curling iron was somebody else. Well, I'm trying to find it. I had it.
Oh, not
here.
the curling iron, but the straightening comb. The straightening comb.
Yeah, I have a list here, and I'm trying to find it again. I was compiling stuff. C.J. Walker got credit for the products, but not the implements. I'm trying to find the woman who did. There was a black man actually who did the curling iron, the straightening, and I'm trying to find it.
The straightening comb, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I've got my lists are all scattered. Hold on.
And then, of course,
we can talk about other people while I find it.
Well, this is like trying to.
There it is. Walter Salmons. Walter Salmons patented a comb that could be heated to straighten hair. And that's on. I got that from the Wikipedia list, so I'm trying to find some more stuff about him.
Well, these are all things that Black people use a straightening comb. I don't know anything about white people's hair.
Annie Turnbow Malone was also developed a hot. She said it says developed. I wrote my notes said developed hair care products and hot comb techniques before Madam CJ became famous. So I have to look that one up too.
So C.J. Walker invented the products that went on your hair, but not the comb itself.
Correct.
Okay. And she became wildly wealthy, and he didn't.
I'm not sure. I'm still trying to find more information. And I can't. Where is she?
Does anyone use a straightening comb other than Black people?
I have no idea.
I mean, this just from the list of things that James read off, it's like we can go on forever.
I can't find when she did it, but there's also a Lyda Newman who improved on the hairbrush, especially for African American hair. And I can't find the year.
And little Black girls everywhere hated her. because I can remember like the Afro comb and of course my wonderful pick that I have today. I don't know who invented that, but let's applaud whoever that is who invented the pick.
I think that Ramses II had an Afro pick in all of his what do you call it? When they went in the archaeological dig, they found it looked like an Afro pick in there. So that's ancient.
Did it have the little black power fist on the end?
It did not have the black power fist, however. They did not
Yeah.
have that, but
Did
they
they
did
find
have
that? Did
There
they
may have
find
been an ankh on the end
Afro
of it,
Queen in there
maybe an
too?
I had an
but we
Afro
got.
pick. I had an Afro pick that almost looked like it was a weapon, and it was like a straight wooden handle with like steel teeth in it. I have no idea how I was allowed in school with that.
I still have one. Yeah.
Had it in my back pocket, and now that I think about it as an adult, I could surely mess somebody up with that. But never mind.
I had a red, black, and green one that the handle used to fold.
Oh yeah, I had that too. Yeah, yeah, that was cool as hell. Yeah, but you know what? I had that in my back pocket, but I can't count the number of times I didn't that I actually used it. I hardly ever comb my hair in public. I Do you remember ever using your Afro pick in public or using it outside your house?
You kind of had to get in front of a mirror half
Yeah,
the time with that. And I mean, I can remember using it outside and then
yeah, we all
patting my
patted our
hair.
stuff down, try to make it round like Michael Jackson or something. But I don't remember actually using my pick outside my house. So
And back then, if you was in certain parts of town, that was like people looked at you like,
yeah, exactly. It's like my
you know.
mother caught me using my pick outside the house. It's like brushing my teeth outside my house. It's like that's personal. Get in the house.
Well, with some people, if they saw you doing it, it was like kind of like they saw it as an act of defiance type of
Really?
thing. Yeah,
Or
because
how about having the pick in your back pocket with the fist sticking out? Was that an act of defiance?
yes, that was too. Yeah,
Wow.
because you remember now, the afro was revolutionary back then. You know,
That is that. I mean, you say that. That's amazing.
yeah, it was revolutionary back then. I can remember my father having a fit because me and my brother had got our hair braided. You know,
Who who braided it?
my sister, but
And so, and so
back
that's
then,
that's an
that's
act of defiance.
yeah, because it was the norm for us to go get our hair cut. We go down to Leroy's down on Morrison Avenue, and we would get our hair cut. Just don't try not to get your hair cut while Bob Gibson is pitching, though, because oh my God, you know, I remember a little tissue, the sanitary tissue they put on your neck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can remember. I remember Leroy jigging me with the safety pin. He was trying to put the sanitary tissue on,
Yeah.
and he's watching Bob Gibson on his black and white TV in the barbershop pitch and shit. And Bob,
I can't imagine why he didn't like put that thing around your neck and choke you, like get the smock and just like tie it real tight.
yeah, that was another thing too. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
know.
I mean, no one invented the afro, right? It's just a hairstyle. Is that
Well, no, it was when you look at the afro, I guess it was a hairstyle that went back to antiquity. It was always way out there, but it's just that we was kind of so conditioned, to get our hair cut, and plus you had, black folk getting their hair What's the old saying? Fried, dyed, and laid to the
I
side.
died and laid to the yeah. I think we were
Yeah,
ashamed of our hair. We were ashamed of it.
yeah, we were. We get our hair conked. That's another
Yeah.
word, you know. And it wasn't until the '60s that we started going, natural. You know,
Thank God. Thank God for that. I mean, a lot of the things, some things that are out there were invented for Black people as a result of shame, and they're not in other communities. They're only in our community. Well, our communities, and I think Indian communities or people with darker skin.
right?
What do they call it? I don't know the name. Maybe somebody does. The skin lightener that they have. I forgot the name of it.
Oh,
And we also exported that over to the Asian countries.
yeah, which that I'm I I'm totally to this day I'm mystified why people do that to their skin. You know.
Well, you shouldn't be mystified though, right?
No, because it's just you have to look the standard.
Right. Or closer
Yeah,
to it as you can get.
Sometimes you can't.
but
Yeah.
see, that's the whole thing. The standard of trying to look as close to whatever.
Well, they
It
tell us
makes you, yeah,
professional. That means you don't look professional with your natural hair. That's what they said.
but it well, I mean, skin wise, you look like a monstrosity.
No, I mean there was a cream. Penelope, do you remember the name of the cream you used to buy that lightened your skin? I think it was some Posner or something. I forgot the name of it. Maybe not. But there was another cream called Black and White Ointment.
That's I'm having myself muted. I'm talking, but not I can't. I'm muted. Except for the face. What is the thing called? The bleaching creams like
Hydroquinone. It had hydroquinone in it.
hydroquinone in it. All the
Yeah,
hydroquinone, the bleaching creams. Um, and that was the thing.
It's
I
by
mean, in
it's by
fact, all over the
Posner.
world.
Yeah, Posner
Yeah,
cream. Yeah.
yeah. And it's but with all this around us, kind of telling you that what you look like is not beautiful. It's hard to push back, and I mean, I think as a people, we did a very great job in pushing back. And of course, I see Blurred Girl Romance, and I posted it on the screen, which is I'm not trying to be that person, but how we went from the afro to the natural hair movement to gluing some Malaysian woman's hair to our foreheads in the 2020s is very sad. And we agree. I agree. Yes, that is very, very sad.
I would also throw in the blonde haired Nordic look too. I
What a second, my older sister would say, people got that Pocahontas weave and that bone straight, and it's like, wow. I mean, I understand that these are just hairstyles, and it's just a
But they
thing.
say a lot. They say a lot about us, don't they?
That's right, but it does.
But here,
And I
the
think
thing is, I know people are gonna hate me.
go on.
Get ready to hate me.
Oh,
But
hate me.
I saw in a
as
family
if we
chat.
already thought that. Go ahead.
There was a family chat about Michelle Obama becoming. I don't know what she was becoming. But I always. And I'm a man. I'm not a woman. I don't know what women go through. I can't imagine what women go through. The criticism of the way they look, all the time. But it would have done a lot, I think, to have her hair natural, as opposed to the way it was when she was in the White House. And maybe that somebody tell me if I'm stepping on things I shouldn't step on.
Her hair, according to what she said in interviews, her hair was always natural, but she did things like straighten it out. She didn't show all the curls because she knew that they were going to come after Obama for anything, like especially when they did the tan suit. And she just didn't want to add one more thing for
Well, I mean,
them to have to deal with.
yeah, and I remember the time they'd gone on vacation or something, and Malia had, had her hair natural, you know, on
But
vacation, and
but
these
two
people lost their
things.
minds.
But two things. I can understand that on the first term. I can understand. I can't understand under the second term. And then also, I remember the lines from Soldier Story where Sergeant Walter said, "They're still going to hate you."
Well,
And
she
so,
started. The curls, if you look closely, the curls start coming back, coming natural, more natural towards the end, like closer and closer to the end.
I never
Um,
noticed that.
yeah, they did
Yeah, why would
because
you?
I
And why
as
never
would you
her
do it
noticed.
closer
hair's
to the end? Why would you do it closer to the end? You
because she
got four
didn't
But I
didn't
never,
years.
care
but I
didn't care
never
anymore.
noticed that. I
Listen,
never noticed
Yeah,
her
as
having her hair not
towards the
permed.
fourth towards the year, it wasn't permed. It was straightened. She
I
was very
never.
insistent never to use the chemicals,
Well,
but
if I straighten my hair, if I got a hot comb and put it through it, would it make a
the
difference
silk
whether I
press.
use
Yeah, that's
chemical?
what's called now silk
No, no,
press.
no, 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 Sonia,
Yeah,
listen to me though.
I know.
If I got a hot comb and I straighten my hair and I laid it to the side, would make a difference whether I mock or I try to emulate white people, whether I did it with a straightening comb or whether I did it with chemicals?
For
Not
your
really,
health, it would have. Yeah,
but
but
not as far as what people see. It
so
doesn't make a
yeah.
difference. With
listen,
what you're doing,
with
kowtowing
Okay,
to
we're
that.
diverting again from the topic.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
and
Yeah.
with that
No,
was
not really,
did.
because the thing when I'm still talking about the stuff that was
it's about
invented.
invention. Yeah, invention to make us look more or look, feel, to bleach our skin, to straighten our hair, those things that make us feel that we're more accepted, I guess. And then when you do it, people will complain that you're appropriating or something. I don't know. But I think a lot of people, weirdly, many Anglo people thought that we make your hair like that so that you don't have to look like us. You are making your hair with
Oh, you think that? Do you think that's true?
I know
And maybe
that.
that's why, and
I
maybe that's why they
know
hated
that.
it so much.
Yeah, that they think that you are doing that to make you look different from them. I mean, I know that.
They think that we're putting like a perm kit or something in our hair.
Yeah, dude, because your hair is not like that. You're making it like that. And I think not until like the 70s did people start to understand that no, that's just the way it is. But even when I was in college, I had people um ask me how I did that to my hair. I said, nope, that's how it comes out of my head. Normally,
Wow.
that's what it looks like. I'm not making it like this. This is how it is. So I think that's
And
the other thing that we are like we want so much to not be you. We're figuring out these incredible ways. One person said the hair oil. You put hair oil in your hair. Is that what makes your hair do that?
wow.
No. This is how it is. This is
I mean,
how the hair
Johnson and
works.
Johnson. I don't know what year they came out with what Afro Sheen, and I think they did these products, invented these products for like black soldiers on army bases. A lot of stuff was provided
That
there
was
Yeah.
from
that was just one Johnson
The
and Johnson
pomades and stuff.
company.
Johnson. Yeah. So yeah, one less Johnson. So Johnson. Um, right. So
The same
when you
Johnsons as the Ebony.
watch Soul Train and all those shows like that, it had Afro Sheen. It had products solely made or invented for your afro to maintain your afro.
Yeah, absolutely. All these things. And so, but things they want you first to use the products they already made so they can have their profit. That's another thing people resist these changes because they put money into these products. And in fact, Afro Sheen, when they changed it into Ultra Sheen, so that you can use it for, straightening your hair, not just the hair care for your natural, but now you can also use it to straighten your hair.
Is that why that was there? Ultra.
Yes. Yeah. Ultra Sheen, so perm perming, of course, for your scalp and hair to make it shiny and stuff. And the Afro Sheen stuff, same thing. You know, I have no idea what that clicky sound is, and one
And
day
a
I will
lot
figure
of
it out.
and a
Somebody
lot
getting
of
it. Somebody getting that ticket punched. That's what it is.
It sounds like, doesn't it? Yeah.
and a lot of products now invented on the market aren't even produced by black folk for black folk.
Yeah, you see a lot of stuff that comes from South Korea
Yeah.
and from
Or
Asian
just or
countries.
Asian countries. Yeah. But they are making these products for our hair care. We're not making them ourselves. And that's another thing, are we making these things for our own hair? that would be nice. Or just, to be able to, uh, I guess, to sponsor or promote any of these companies that make something that actually works. And every year, every month, every day, they're telling us something different. You know, coconut oil good, coconut oil bad. You know, it's every
Well,
oil, everything, every preparation that was good. Oh no, that's bad. So it's a work. It's a job
is it
for
harder?
us
Is
right
it
here.
harder now? Is it harder now to invent anything, or are there any new inventions that are on the market or out there that black people are doing? Are we innovating, or are we closed out? Like someone said, are
You
we?
know,
Are
I
we?
I I don't think we're closed out. I don't think that that's, completely, true, but the issue is not, um, running into people that will steal your stuff from you. You may have a great idea. We have access to internet, etc., to be able to get our ideas out there, to get your patent or whatever it is that you wanna get, or your trademark for your thing, but sometimes you go through the hands of ruthless people. And I often tell people that story of, if you are, like, I don't know how many people here are dog collectors. I'm sure you're not. But um, if you remember back when we were children, you know, we had the dolls, a Blythe doll, and she was like a really ugly little doll, and she had big old eyes. But most people say she's so ugly, she's cute. But the Blythe doll her eyes would change color, and she wore little wigs and stuff. Her body was the same size as a Barbie, but her head was really, really big. So you get these little Blythe dolls, and this one woman I know, she had an old one from in the 70s when all of us were growing up, and she traveled a lot for her job. So she took her little black doll. I'm trying to find one that I can post, so that if those of you all have never seen one would know what I'm talking about. But she would take this doll with her in all her travels, post pictures, of her, Blythe doll, the Great Wall of China, and wherever the heck it was that she was taking her doll. And a lot of people were like, "My gosh, what is this? What is this little doll you've got?" And she says, "Well, this is my Blythe doll." People, "Where do you get it?" I found out it was no longer being made. So she went to, I guess, China, where I guess, had originally produced the doll, or Japan, one of the two. I guess it was China where they originally produced the doll. Got an agent over there to get her a contract, and so she did the contract. And then when she finally, got everything, together, that the chick who did the contract for her stole the contract and did it for herself. And since she was not, an attorney, like, if you're an attorney, you couldn't do that. But, she said that over there's Confucianism, and you only have a duty to certain people. So she got the little doll, as you see on the screen, the little Blythe doll, and she got the contract for herself. Even though this other woman had done all the work, she's the person that was out there making this thing, more popular or whatever. But this woman stole the concept that she had, got this major contract and distribution chain. I think it was the Takara Blythe, that's what they called it, and put it back out there. So yeah, there are things that you can do and we can create, but the hardest thing now is not being stolen from. I mean, that's what I think. That's the roughest thing. Just not being stolen from. Don't you all think?
Yeah,
No?
that's why they always tell you to get, and people always tell you to get the patent or the copyright immediately, but then they don't. It usually always costs so much that you can't
Hmm.
afford it, and you need to hire a lawyer to make sure that it's done just
Yeah,
right.
and that's the issue. Trying to get a lawyer, or some places actually, your local college, university, and law schools have clinics where you can go there and
Mhm.
say, "I've got a thing that needs to be done." and they will help you get them done
But
as
getting
part
the
of
word
their
out so that
or
everybody knows about it.
yeah, because if you go to those universities and colleges, well, most universities for law schools, and they have, clinics where you go in, and for the student, of course, they get the practice on learning how to do it, and then you get the benefit of having the work done because the student's not just doing it, they actually have to be supervised by a faculty member. So if that's the thing that's in somebody's mind, try that first before you give up, you know, for your inventions. And if you want to get them patented or trademarked.
Inventions and innovations,
Hmm.
not just creating something new, but improving on things.
Let's say that's, but know that there are, even when things look as if, it's bleak, that there are places that you can go to get assistance. And even if you contact maybe sometimes your local, bar association, the attorneys, that we have a bar association where you get information, or, regarding legal topics, and they may have locally groups that will help you. If you, come to them and you're needing the work done because you don't have the funding, that you may get an attorney or someone that could work for you, for low or no cost. You never know.
How do we retake Black History Month? Because we heard of different ways of learning about Black history. Inventors. You
Hmm.
have the encyclopedia that James mentioned, and of course the book that he has. I remember growing up with the African American calendar. So it's a year round thing with the illustrations on it. Um, that's no longer, that was all analog, and we live in a digital age. Any idea how do we retake Black History Month? Because what it is right now to me is lacking.
Yeah, and I know that we started with that question early on about why we should do this, and I think that some of the Black History Month uh, events and personalities that are touted tend toward what is it, pacifism, and some religion, in the sense of everybody get together, kumbaya,
No,
but they
I
don't reflect. I don't think that we focus a lot on people who were not um, particularly pro government, or I guess, what is the word? I don't want it to be submissive. It's not quite the word, but certainly they don't want Black history for people saying, "Hey, this is," like Malcolm, to say, we need to be separate from what's going on here and creating our own things. They want us to have, what is that word? Kind of like that more nationalist, liberal nationalism, right? That we are all working together to do this thing. And so individuals who say things or have done things that don't reflect that are kind of not welcomed into this Black History Month fold. You
no,
know,
I I think I think I don't think it's about that. What the problem is that over the last couple of decades, okay, the emphasis when it comes to Black History Month is that now the powers that be, and to a certain extent the Black community, focus mainly on people in the entertainment industry. Okay, we don't focus on uh people like you said, like Malcolm X, or or Elijah Muhammad. We don't focus on those people. We focus these days on the entertainment industry. And I think part of that started with, believe it or not, cable TV.
hmm
Because I noticed with cable back in like the 90s, going into the early 2000s, you would have cable TV channels, they would focus on the entertainers. Okay,
hmm
before that, you had a focus on Black historical figures within the system and outside the system. but then it slowly went into this whole thing where we focus more on people in the entertainment industry. Also, we had the outlets that we had, like here in New York, we had WNYC television. Okay, that was gotten rid of, and it was a known fact that NYC would focus solely on Black History Month when, especially when Bob Gore was the head of that channel. Okay, but he was kicked out of there by Koch, and that channel was sold to a private company. So
Hmm.
it's you had this whole thing where it was evolving, where the focus, and I'm just saying, and I know he's important to the black community, but I saw Black History Month things about Kobe Bryant. Okay, God bless him, or Michael Jordan. That's fine, but that's uh, sports figures and entertainers were just a part
Yeah,
of Black
yeah.
History.
Unless you're Jackie Robinson and you're breaking a barrier or something. I think that was on analog. We had the James. You remember Amsterdam News and like it is with Gil Noble. We were spoiled with that. But in the digital age, what do we do? Do we is AI our friend to show the
AI,
good, the bad, and
no,
the ugly of Black history?
no
What
AI,
platforms do we use?
AI is a tool. The platforms are us. We could be digital creators going out like James's blog, shouting it out from the vent, amplifying those that we find, making
Right,
sure that
right, right.
others
But it-
see.
but what you I'm not sure you're hearing what I'm saying. Maybe I'm not articulating it right. But it was easy for those things to get into our homes as
right,
black kids. I mean,
right,
the calendars, the like I said, the New Yorkers being spoiled with Like It Is and the
right.
Amsterdam News and the other WNYC and the different platforms. Not everyone had access to that, and so how do we make it easy? How do we make it so we don't have to, you
Well,
know?
I guess the one thing I would say, and I hate to cut you off, but that back in the day, we had more the people who were telling us this information had better access to us. Now they're competing with so much more, things that have our children's attention, I mean, they can get 24-hour freaking cartoons. Man, when that happened, my our kids were little. I'm like, man, I could have done with this when I was growing up, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
I mean, I probably wouldn't have gotten half the stuff done that I got done growing up if I had access to 24-hour cartoons. But, again, competition that we are
yeah,
competing for their attention. And
yeah,
so, how do we do this? I know a lot of people do things like, oh, well, we try to create a game or something like that that has information related to individuals who are these inventors or academicians or whatever. But let's face it, as a kid, it's like you're not tricking me, trying to make me play some game with this stuff. I know you're tricking me, you're trying to make me get education.
So
It's
you
not
find a
really
we have to find a way to make it a low enough barrier, which means we have to supply, in many cases, we have to supply the tablets and the iPads or whatever
or
so that
make the
kids can
games
play the
right.
games
But
that,
also make the games a heck of a lot more interesting. Because
right.
I got to tell you, simply because you know that something exists or someone exists and they've done something extraordinary, does not mean that you have the capability of making it entertaining. Oh my lord! I mean, I was growing up, and I'm sure don't have all the information, but I'm sure Otto, you sure remember this because we've talked about it. That when we were kids, and you would have the stories of individuals like we watched, all of us, I'm sure, read Greek myths coming up, and then we had like a lot of the mythologies, like African stories. And when you grow up used to these multi-layered Greek myths with all these characters and subplots and things of that ilk, and then you get these zaboomafoo like stories that are not telling you a whole heck of a lot, or told in a way that we have not you know picked up how to absorb
Well,
from it.
yeah, I
It's
mean, it's like
yeah.
growing up and reading Norse myths and
Mhm.
Greek myths, and then really wanted to go into the West African mythology about Anansi the spider and how the leopard got his spots and everything. I was like, that's not as interesting as Hercules and the 12 labors of Hercules and stuff. And so I don't know how to make it more interesting, but kids are going to watch the thing that moves and grabs their attention. They're going to pick Kobe Bryant over learning more about Medgar Evers or something. So
Yeah,
and
but
you
see that's not good. Okay, you have to have a combination, and this is what people talk about analog. But back in those days, you had sports figures to look up to, entertainment,
Mm,
political, historical.
yeah,
It was a
partners
whole
tell to stay in place.
combination
Oops.
of it. But these days,
Yeah.
you just can't focus on entertainers because that's going back to like, yeah, okay, we're only good at sports and entertainment, and that's it. That can't be it.
yeah,
Right. Right.
That that
And
that,
they're
that
putting us in a box.
yeah,
yeah,
There's
they're putting us in a box.
yeah,
Now, for I don't know about the youth, but
Well, I
this
think
what
the
I'm
major
holding
problem we
up.
have to look out for is what's going on, like in Florida. There's this thing they adopted that's supposed to be this history thing and stuff, and it starts out with these. The first misinformation is these kids are on, and it's their idea of a diverse group of kids talking to Christopher Columbus, who is sailing somewhere in America, which is okay. Mistake number one. And somebody mentioned slavery, and then Columbus says, "Well, slavery wasn't a good thing, but hey, everybody was slaves, so we just have to get past that and go on into the future." So
And,
what we
and,
have to do is look for the misinformation that's being put out there.
right.
The kids will find that those stories are a lot more um, interesting than all these really bad fairy tales that we have. Like,
Mhm.
these people weren't really slaves, they were learning new job skills.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and
And
see,
no,
we
and the
we,
piece that's
we
amazing also that that concept of learning new job skills. Say no, these people were abducted because of their job skills. They were
Mm,
abducted because they needed people to do these things that they already knew how to do. They didn't bring them over to teach them. These are things these people already knew how to do that they wanted to capitalize off of. And
mm,
that's the other thing. People have this concept that people from the mother continent were just sitting around doing nothing when these people you know came over and purchased these individuals from other people that looked exactly like them.
mm,
These were not, it wasn't all Kunta Kinte throwing nets over people and dragging them off. A lot of it was, going to a fort that had been set up as a commerce area to sell other human beings. So, we also need to get away from this thing that we thought growing up to a great degree that
mm,
these people came over to wherever our families were in West Africa, threw some nets over you and dragged you away. No, that was not what happened. There was a business of selling people that
mm,
was done by people that look exactly like us to people, who look exactly like us, from people and to people.
yeah.
And we have to, I mean, I got to tell you, when I was a young woman, and that became clear to me that that's what was happening. I know many African people I knew were just like, well, no, because they had like superior forces and could do blah, blah, blah. In my mind, I'm like, I was not angry or I wasn't like shocked and appalled. I was like, phew, what a relief. I don't know if the rest of y'all felt the same way that I did. I'm like, what a relief. Because for so long, they had been banging this drum of a superiority, of coming over with superior forces and coming, just dragging you, grabbing you, and taking you, and there's nothing you could do, to defend yourself. No, it was a transaction.
Hmm.
That's all. And so the fact is that our own people who look just like us did this thing meant that no, we were not in control at
Hmm.
all times.
I think
Our
I think
people
I
were in
think Pene-
control.
yeah, I think Penelope. I think the challenge to our panel as we go through this month of Black History is find out a way that is easy, make it more easily accessible.
Absolutely.
As far as our the Black history that we think
And and
young
and so
people should know.
and I
And the thing is,
so the problem I
it
have is that
should
we can't be so heavy-handed with it.
no, we
Because
can't. That's what I was going to say, because the thing is, people are going to turn away. Nobody wants to hear another documentary about blah blah blah. It's too heavy handed, and but it can't be so light that it's like is chewing gum. It's like if they're possible to make a Willy Wonka chewing gum that's tasty but also a full meal. It's something
right,
like that.
right.
Well, I mean, listen, nothing for nothing. This
Well,
is
I
what
think what
I've
you
been
have to
doing
do
for the
is
last
what
couple of
we need
years.
is
What I try
Bright
to do,
Okay.
versus Snopes, where whenever this things come up, like when they said that the best-selling female rapper of all time was Nicki Minaj, that they can say, well, no, 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 we can look this up and find out that's not exactly true.
Right, right. And also, I mean, I know we get ready to have to get out of here, but we only have a few more minutes. But I did want to state, and you all, just bear with me. This nonsense with Nicki Minaj and it's going all around, all around. What an embarrassment! But people have been saying was because her brother or her ex-husband or husband, whoever, has some sort of legal problems and they want to get a pardon. Well, that's not the case because those legal problems they have, those criminal convictions, are state, and a federal pardon can't do anything for that. They
It
can't
wouldn't
pardon.
matter to me if they were federal. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but they can't. But it, I'm saying, but it can't. You know.
Hmm.
But the reality is that several years back, you all recall that Nicki Minaj was commenting on the fact that she came here undocumented when she was 5 years old. So that meant that she's undocumented, and that means that her parents, who brought her over here, probably also undocumented, and probably came from Trinidad, I believe, and
Hmm.
probably subject to expulsion, subject to deportation. So I think it's probably more likely that she is doing all this in order to keep herself and her family from being deported.
Makes it even more decrepit and offensive.
I know it's still offensive, but in my mind, it's I think not. It's not a situation. I think this guy is so great, and we should follow him. Is this thing happened, and basically we're being held hostage. You know.
okay, let me know when you want me to start crying for her.
Oh, I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm not crying for her, but I'm just saying that we, as people, need to be a lot more open about what's going on here. This
Well,
guy, he's a
she should be attacked.
blackmailer.
She should be attacked just like everyone else who's in this man's sphere or orbit should be
Hmm.
attacked,
Yeah,
because no
No,
one
we
no
can.
one's around no one's around him because they think he's great. They're around him because they're selling everyone else out, and
yes.
they're getting what they
And,
what they
and,
need.
and, and again, let me know when cue me when
Oh,
I'm
just
to
stop.
start crying.
We've got to go.
In
All right,
one
yeah, we're
minute.
down to our last minute.
Got,
So thank you all, everybody, for showing up. Wonderful conversation. Everybody, come back again. We'll be
thank you,
doing
Blur Girl
tomorrow.
Romance.
Yep, and hopefully we'll be seeing her again. Take care, you all, and ciao.